first class. I made it late to work. Roads are so bad. To top it off, I saw a Cybertruck on my way in. So hopefully I can turn this day around. I didn't have time to eat breakfast, so I'm eating my oats and a banana. And then I also brought coffee. I haven't put a coffee in a jar recently because I can't find any of like my thermos or like to-go cups. I need like a designated iced coffee cup because it doesn't have to be like a Yeti or like a thermos or something. Reporting live from my bedroom. It is January 23rd. It's a Thursday. It has been quite the grim, dark, scary week. If you live in America, probably if you live around the world, you're also thinking, what the fuck is going on over there? However, you probably just saw clips of my January. I've decided to give YouTube a shot. You might have seen the vlog that I posted a few months ago. I think it was like November when I posted it. Like I said, I wanted to give YouTube a shot. I think one of my goals for this year was to kind of expand my creative platforms and see what works, see what I like. I think especially now with everything going on with the other social media platforms, I'm still trying to figure out at what capacity I want to continue to use them. So I really just want to give this a shot. If you made it to this point, thank you for being here. If you've never seen my face before, hi, I'm Monse. Some of you may know me as Latina Virgo Reads on TikTok and on Instagram. As you could tell, I read a lot. I am a predominantly romance reader. I read mostly romance. I read mostly books written by women and marginalized people. I'm a huge champion for women not being ashamed about reading romance and embracing female pleasure. So that is my big thing. A little more about me. I am currently in school. I'm in my final semester of school. I am graduating with a bachelor's in English with a focus on creative writing. And yeah, I should be graduating by April, which is both exciting and scary. But anyway, enough about me. I wanted to end this video talking about the books that I've read this month so far and the books that I plan to read before the end of the month. You'll probably tell that most of them are advanced reader copies. They're ARCs. One of my goals this year was to get ahead of my ARCs. I am a mood reader to my core. So a lot of times a ARC will come in of a book I'm really excited about and I will not read it for months. I will read it after pub day. And in my defense, I'm not a reviewer per se on any of my social media platforms. However, if it's a book I'm really excited about, I obviously want to share my love for it and read it as soon as I can. So that is one of my biggest goals this year. So starting with the first book that I read this month, it was Out of the Woods by Hannah Bonham Young. Don't know if you could tell up there, I have the ARC of it that Dell so kindly sent to me in November. However, the end of my 2024 was very crazy. I had a lot on my plate. I had some personal stuff going on. So I knew I really wanted to be in a clear headspace when I read this. And let me tell you guys, it did not disappoint. If you've never heard of Hannah Bonham Young, she wrote Out on a Limb, which was very big on TikTok. She also wrote Next to You, Next of Kin, and her holiday novella that is incredibly underrated. It is called Set the Record Straight. It is a sapphic holiday novella that I think a lot of people would enjoy. It's also very short, so definitely look into that if you want to. Out of the Woods is about Sarah and Caleb, who have been married since they were 18 years old, so they kind of gone through adulthood together and young adulthood. And the book kind of starts off at a point where Sarah's going through all this personal stuff, and she's kind of wondering how she got here and what her life would be like if things were different. And she's also still suffering a lot with the loss of her mom. Basically, the premise of the book is that Sarah and Caleb find themselves at I think the best way I could put it is like a couples counseling campsite. So they're like hiking, they're obviously in the woods, and I think it is just done so beautifully. I am not the biggest second chance romance girl. I also don't know if this fully filters into second chance, but you could decide that once you read it. I'm not a second chance girl because I'm far too nostalgic. I usually get very emotional. However, I think Hannah Bonham Young did this so beautifully with the flashbacks that she had and how they perfectly aligned with what's going on now in the present of the book. I just really, really enjoyed it. Hannah Bonham Young finds this sweet spot of having a heartfelt romance book, but at the same time, having it be witty and having it be sexy, which I just really, really enjoy. Speaking of witty and sexy, this next book is actually the first book that I read by this author. A lot of my friends on social media were really, really enjoying it, so of course I had to read it. It is Beg, Borrow, Steal by Sarah Adams. Like I said, this is my first Sarah Adams book. I actually started this a few days before Pub Day, but hear me out. I was reading the first chapter and I was like, this is good. I really, really liked it. However, the writing style, for some reason, I knew I would absolutely adore in an audiobook. So luckily, Pub Day rolled around a few days after I started it. I listened to the audio. I absolutely loved it. This is the kind of romance book that reminds me why I love romance so much. I don't mean to trope it down because I think Sarah Adams did a wonderful job writing these characters and writing this story. I am actually so excited to read the other books in the interconnected series. This is an open door romance, and I think the other books in the series are closed door, and that might have played into why I love it so much. But even so, I want to read the other books because I absolutely love them. The characters, Emily and Jack, are so real. They're second grade teachers. They have aspirations. They have dreams. They've known each other since college. They've been enemies since college. And we basically just see them grow to be very fond of each other. They form kind of an alliance together, and once you read it, you'll understand, but I absolutely loved it. It is just so good. I have truly not been able to stop thinking about it. I am obsessed with it. Speaking of being obsessed, the book that I actually just finished a few days ago is Deep End by Ali Hazelwood, which is also my most anticipated read of the year. This should be out February 4th, I believe. Also, Out of the Woods, I believe, is supposed to be out January 28th, so it should be out by the time you guys see this video. Deep End was so good. I've been talking to so many friends about this. I don't know how Ali Hazelwood does it. Every single book that she writes is pure gold. She always hits the spot. We still have a STEM romance at its core, but these are also college athletes. So we have a diver and we have a swimmer, and I will say it's a very college setting, which I really enjoy. I love books that fall into this like new adult genre that, sometimes gets lost in the publishing industry, but I actually listened to a really good podcast episode, I'll link it down below, where they talk about kind of the history of new adult and kind of where it filters in now and where it has filtered in the past. But I absolutely love this. I feel like I can't talk about it much without giving a huge part of the plot away. I went in a little bit blind. I don't think I ever read the description for this book, and so in the beginning I was a little confused, but I think that's a good way to go. Go read the description if you want to know more, but I think it's fun to go into blind with this one. As for the book that I'm currently reading now, I just picked up A Tropical Rebel Gets the Duke by Adriana Herrera that I believe is also out February 4th. I could be completely wrong. I'll put it on the screen if I'm wrong about these two, but I believe they come out on the same day. Tropical Rebel Gets a Duke is the third installment in the Las Leonas series by Adriana Herrera. It is a Latina historical romance, which I absolutely adore. One of my favorite books of all time is An Island Princess Starts a Scandal by Adriana Herrera. It is a sapphic Latina historical romance, and it is just so good. I'm loving this so far. I'm only 15% through, but Aurora is such a powerful main character that I'm very interested to see where her love story takes her. And then the audiobook that I'm currently listening to, I am somebody who reads 3 books all at once, usually in a different format. The audiobook that I'm currently listening to is Good Material by Dolly Alderton. It is for my book club with 2 of my friends. I'm loving it so far. I think Dolly Alderton has a very unique writing style that I really enjoy. I will say it's interesting reading a book narrated by a man. Like, we're in a man's head. However, he is written by a woman, but somehow he is a man. So it's very interesting jumping from only reading books from women's perspectives. And then finally, the physical book that I'm hauling around with me, it is Flirting with Disaster by Naina Kumar. I have heard so many great things about this. I always haul around a physical book with me. You know the thing where it's like you take a book with you even when you know you're not going to have any downtime to read it. You just never know. So this is the one I've been hauling with me. I haven't started it yet. So maybe it'll be the last book I read this month, or it'll be the first book I read in February. However, it's really short. I think it's only 295 pages, but people have been relating it to Sweet Home Alabama. So I'm very, very excited to read this. I think it's the same premise of like a couple that's separated but not fully divorced, and I think she ends up going back to Texas, I believe, and a storm ends up keeping her there. So I'm so excited about that one. Anyway, that is everything that I'm currently reading, everything that I hope to read by the end of the month. If you made it to the end of this video, thank you so much for watching. I hope this gave you a moment of comfort, a moment of peace, a moment to take a break from the rest of the world, and hopefully I'll see you soon. Thank you for watching.